Yeah, okay. Oh, all right. So we are going to go ahead and get started now that everybody has been watching us get everything set up in the time of Zoom. Welcome to our April Crip Conversation. We will have ASL. They are spotlighted on the screens. We do have part transcription, so you can turn on your subtitles. At the bottom of your screen, it will say show subtitles, so you can see the transcription. We are here talking today with Leah Lakshm Piepzna-Samarasinha. I am Dr. Nick Yanas with the Critical Disability Studies program. Visual description, I am a white woman in her 40s, which I'm very proud of. I have green rimmed glasses, newy orange hair, a green tie, white shirt, blue plaid vest, and headphones. I have a lot going on in the background. As we were talking about earlier, a bromelia doing its thing as much as it can right now. Some books in the background. So we are so delighted to continue our Crip Conversation series this semester. We've had amazing people so far. We're working with Steve Hicks School of Social Work. Graduate Enrichment Fund has helped us get some of these speakers to come and talk. We are so thankful for Texas Center for Disability Studies. There is a very short survey that comes after this. If you'll please feel free to answer the 2 questions that come with it, because we are also a federally funded program. But that's all the boring stuff. I am now going to get to Leah's bio. So Leah Lakshm Piepzna-Samarasinha, she, they, is a non-binary femme-disabled writer, performance artist, and disability and transformative justice movement worker. She's Berger, Italian, Sri Lankan, Irish, and Galician Roma ascent. That's my dog, I apologize. They are the author or co-editor of 10 books, including The Future is Disabled, Prophecies, Love Notes and Morning Songs with Jairus Dixon, Beyond Survival, Strategies and Stories from the Transformative Justice Movement, Tonguebreaker, Care Work, Dreaming Disability Justice, and Body Map. A Lambda Award winner who has been shortlisted for the Publishing Triangle 5 times. She is winner of Lambda's 2020 Jean Cordova Award, honoring a lifetime of work documenting complexities of queer of color disabled femme experience, as well as being a 2020 Disability Futures Fellow. Since 2009, they have been a lead performer with Disability Justice Performance Collective Sins Invalid. They are the programming committee of the Disability and Intersectionality Summit and co-founded the performance collectives Mangas with Chili and Performance Disability Art. Raised in Rust Belt Central Massachusetts and shaped by Toronto and Oakland, they are currently at work building Cripple Creek Farm, a disability justice home space and accessible retreat for disabled BIPOC creators. They are a haggard porch and couch witch and a very unprofessional adaptive trike writer. So I love that. I know that it was longer, but I loved it so much. And I wanted to honor that this is also your favorite bio. So without any more, I'm going to turn it over to why we're all here.
Oh, thank you so much, Nick. Thanks so much. Hi, I'm Leah. I am a light brown skin, mixed race, haggard porch witch in my 40s. I've got brown and very faded purple curly hair on one side of my head and a growing in undercut on the other. I've got rose gold glasses, purple lipstick, and these red pom-pom earrings that kind of look like clown noses. And Being that we live in disabled worlds, I am very tired because I moved from my home in South Seattle of 7 years to Philly 2 weeks ago, and then my apartment turned out to be a scam. So, in 2 weeks of housing stability in my friend's spare room, I just drove 7 hours to my new home in Western Massachusetts today. So, I'm in my friend and assistant Mateo's house in Holyoke, Mass, on Potomcook land, Potomtuc. And there's some plants and woodwork behind me. And I'm so happy to be here. Um, Being an autistic Aries Taurus overachiever who's very wordy, I have prepared 17 pages of stuff. We have 52 minutes, not including questions. So I'm actually, if you want to look in chat, which I think everyone, okay, here we go. I'm going to cut and paste in the access copy. So if people want to read along, I will not say everything that is in those 17 pages, but it will give you a good swath of what I'm going to present. So when I was asked to present for y'all many months ago, I just was like, it's cripple grief at the end, artwork at the end of the world. And I've been thinking a lot about the South African freedom struggles phrase, our struggle is a struggle of memory against forgetting. And I've been thinking about that a lot, period, but especially at this moment that is so intense in North America of mainstream society and the system after a globally disabling event of the past 2.5 years that is not over, insisting that we forget about the cripping of the world. We forget that everything was different and still is. We forget about the millions of our dead. We forget about all of the disabled wisdom and creativity and survival and grief and loss and love that we have collectively created over the past 2.5 years. I feel like I'm on a tilt-a-whirl because simultaneously I'm just like, my God, there's so much disabled everything still. There's so much Crip mutual aid and communities and poetry and innovation and sex and art. And then on my, 4-hour drive that turned into a 7.5-hour drive yesterday from Philly to Northampton, I go into this rest stop in Jersey, and I just had this moment of shock because I was like, no one in here's masked but me, including the workers. And everyone's just acting like nothing happened. But as disabled people, one of our many, many gifts is how we know how to remember each other. And I mean that in the present moment, where we refuse to forget about disability, where I notice your pain face, where I know how many stairs or not there are into a building, or if it smells bad. And we also remember our histories and our people. So I'm going to start by reading a poem that is the first one in the access copy. That's called How We Made It, but I would first want to call in my sibling and 2-year ancestor next month, the great Stacey Park Milburn, disabled Korean tomboy femme, organizer, dreamer, writer, who passed May 19th, 2020, in one of my favorite phrases of her, where she said, "Disability justice dreams got me this far, and I'm going to keep betting on them." Yeah. How we made it. We didn't. We didn't break down your door. Your mom flew north 500 miles. We set up an altar by your ICU bed. Asked the nurse to put a rebozo on your chest. Prayed. B sold me a giant bottle of Costco bourbon for Christmas 2020. Slipped it in the ass of his power chair. Nobody wants to look in the ass of a fat man in a wheelchair, kid. Happy solstice. I poured out most of it this year. So many prayers, and I sipped the rest. We were terrified. We didn't know how to do this. I watched 14 seasons of ER so I could live in a fantasy world where poor disabled people are loved and cared for well by doctors. We organized her funeral in 3 days. We cried afterwards, separately. You sent me one of her shawls. I asked you for the mug I sent her. It arrived here in 3 days. I planted onions and greens, seeds, and watered them and moved them to sunlight. We had boxes of meats and cabbage at Estelita's library, box of masks and lentils outside the state. The three of us sat in the abandoned playground and ate tacos. I cried when I went back to the grocery store for the first time in 9 months. I cried when I went to the library after a year and a half. I walked the same damn 10 to 15-minute walk as many days as I remembered. I looked around and I pulled my mask off when no one was around. We primal screamed in the closet. I sent you groceries. You sent me flowers. You sent me a 9-layer gluten-free Southern pound cake. I sent you Seattle coffee. We texted, touched fingers. You took over the radio station. We kept each other from dying. We spoke for the dead. Some of us we couldn't keep here. You died. We thought we had more time. We organized a memorial in 3 days. So those are just some of little snapshots from disabled time, from a disabled mosaic, as Eli Clare often refers to it, of all these little moments of disabled reality and mutual aid told through poetry, right? Disabled mutual aid, which includes praying for my loved one, Lucia Leandro Jimeno, who passed a year ago in a week when he went into the ICU, and we set up an altar outside of his ICU bed. When it came to finding safe places to sit outside, when it came to screaming in the closet. And one of the TLDRs of this talk is that I think that it is really important for us to remember always how, as disabled people, we have kept each other alive during COVID-19. We kept each other alive before COVID-19. We're going to keep each other alive. And the ways that we keep each other alive are often not legible or visible, in air quotes, to abled, sighted, neurotypical realities. But that doesn't mean they're not there. And moving forward, I just want to say the future is disabled. And it's also unknown and it's unwritten. But there are a few clues about how it might go. 2 years plus into the mass disabling event of COVID, there are massive numbers of newly disabled people. From long COVID, from getting COVID 2 or 3 times, from complex post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and overwhelming grief from mass death. And this means a lot of things. On the one hand, the pandemic has meant that there's this huge wellspring of disabled culture, collective care, communities, love, grief work, joy. There is a cripping of the world. There's so much disabled brilliance. And on the other hand, there is an oh well acceptance of eugenics and survival of the fittest in the learn to live with COVID. And most of the people who died from Omicron are disabled. That's encouraging statements and policies. In the ways it feels like we're being gaslit and ghosted by the state like a bad boyfriend as we go into the 6th and 7th wave, and the powers that be that tell us that COVID's over, to go back to normal and forget everything we've done to keep each other alive. My friend Gabriel Tildros said recently, we're living in the wildest science fiction novel ever. And as I said before, it's like living in a tilt-a-whirl, and I feel nauseous. Some days I think that the cripping of the world will make the disabled world to come that I have wanted my entire life and that we all have been collectively working towards, full of disabled access and possibility and pleasure. And some days I think that we will all be sick and sad forever and be crushed under the weight of fascist ableism. As trans ban after trans ban passes, as mask mandates get torn up, as everyone's forced back to work and school in person in ways we don't want. We don't even know how much COVID exists because the CDC has stopped counting cases. So there's no reliable data for the most part to make safety decisions with. As some of you may have seen in the past week, a people's CDC has risen up, enraged that the CDC has been taken over by corporate interests. And as with many things, I think that it's both and. Jewish autistic anti-fascist organizer Eric Warwick noted recently, everyone keeps talking about how after the 1919 flu pandemic, there was a huge surge in eugenics laws and discourse in the United States and Europe. But no one seems to be mentioning that after that, and after the massive polio outbreaks of the 1950s, we got the disability rights and independent living movements of the 60s and 70s. And she says, I think we're becoming too invested in fatalistic narratives to fight for a better world. I think that what she says is so valid. I also understand the ways in which we are living in cripple fear. That's real. Off script briefly for the interpreters. As some people may know, I am a huge Star Trek Discovery fan. And for people who follow Star Trek Disco, Saru, Saru, one of the main characters, has these fear ganglia in the back of his neck that rise up when he senses death. And I think a lot of our fear ganglia are up because we've always been early adopters of, we've always known when death is coming. So moving forward, I think both things are true. I think our fears are real because we see the unrelenting ways Amazon, governments, masses of everyday people don't give a shit if we die, particularly if we are broke, black, and brown disabled people. But if the majority of the world really is or will be disabled because of COVID, massive numbers of disabled people can also be huge potential resources for the revolution we need. If we really are the majority, if masses of people are already lying down, quitting, organizing Amazon's first union, gathering to primal scream at night out of utter exhaustion on playing fields, could there be so many of us we are impossible to ignore? And I would add especially, it's going to be impossible for us to ignore each other. Will the masses of us have the collective power to fuck the world into justice? Even if we don't make the revolution the way I continue to long for, the world will be and is fundamentally changed and full of disabled possibility. And I'm going to read, these are some excerpts from a piece I wrote recently called For the Disability Visibility Project. That's called We Were Maybe Not Going to Save the World, but We Were Going to Save Each Other. How disabled aid, mutual aid is different than abled mutual aid. And I'm going to summarize a little bit because I also want to get to the poetry and to the space we hold together. But I'm going to repeat, I want you to know this. Disabled people kept each other alive during COVID-19. We kept each other alive when we were alone. We kept the 2 or 2,000 other disabled people we were connected with alive, and we shared our knowledge with everyone else. And this is not new. Like every other kind of oppressed people, disabled people are geniuses at staying alive despite everything. And we are often the only ones who always remember each other and get in the trenches and kick ass to save each other when everyone else forgets about disabled people. The ways we kept each other alive during COVID are nothing short of a heroic, epic miracle battle, something there should be a giant saga type movie about, but probably won't be. When abled and neurotypical people think and talk and write books about mutual aid, often ascribed to white anarchists, mutual aid is actually what non-white, working class and poor, trans, sex working, and disabled communities have practiced forever. The kind of non-disabled mutual aid that was popularized during COVID didn't always talk about disabled specific ways of surviving. When I think about disabled mutual aid, I think of a million of examples of subtle and diverse forms of disabled survival work. Work that's mostly not seen as quote unquote real work. I'm remembering back to the first few months of the pandemic. We were all so fucking scared. There was no good information out there. Even my doctor, who I usually trust, who's like the one good doctor at the community clinic, you know, that one, she was like, don't worry, most people will probably get a mild cold. It's going to blow over in a few months. But from a lifetime of knowing that the medical industrial complex lies, especially about pandemics that are going to affect oppressed communities more intensely, me and all the Crip people I know didn't trust the information that was out there. The voices on the radio and TV kept saying, don't worry, only the elderly and immunocompromised will die. We are the elderly and immunocompromised. When I look at the strategies we created, they fall roughly into 6 categories. Public campaigns and information sharing, Crip research, Crip resource share, Crip checking in and community care, creating disabled community spaces, and getting people money. So in terms of the first one, it's interesting because I think that in terms of kind of like regular, degular anarchist mutual aid, a lot of times it didn't include public campaigns and organizing, right? I'm thinking about work like work done by the Disability Justice Culture Club, which is an East Oakland-based disability justice community center that Stacey Park Milburn founded in her house. And I think about how early in the pandemic, they've just made infographics on Instagram that were like, we know you're scared. Here's things you can do as disabled people. We can do the things we're already doing to care for our disabilities and chronic illnesses. Um, we can share information. I think about public campaigns like that done by the Nobody is Disposable Coalition, which is a Bay Area coalition of disabled, fat, and healing justice groups who early on sounded the alarm about care rationing and what we've been calling ICU eugenics, right? Like policies being discussed that would deny care if there's a shortage to people deemed low on the quality of life triage list. So disabled, fat, Black and brown, and old people. And Nobody is Disposable created Know Your Rights, COVID safety, and patient advocacy guides that were, imperfect and messy as we are, but so useful, where they were like, tape a narrative to your chest that says, hi, my name's so and so. I have a cat. I have a lover. My life is worth saving. Please give me the ventilator, right? They were early on talking about, like, as fat people, they were like, okay, and this is back when we were more worried about COVID transmission through touch. They were like, okay, a lot of us who are larger bodied, we have more body mass that's like touching more of, the seat at the bus or whatever. So here's what you can do to change, create a space for yourself going into your house where you can sit and take your clothes off that's comfortable and accessible. Bring a piece of cardboard to sit on. These are things that I wouldn't necessarily do now because we know that COVID is mostly transmitted through aerial droplets, but I just think about the care and love and disabled fat knowledge that went into those spaces. I also think about that same coalition and people like Alice Wong who created the hashtag High Risk California, the organizing campaigns that disabled people created in coalition to meet with policymakers on the state and federal level saying, no, we're not going to wait to the end of the line to get the vaccine. You have to actually, no, we're not going to accept care rationing. And, we're not going to accept policies that, oh, you've got a ventilator at home, we're going to take it away and give it to some nice white able people who really need it. That organizing it saved people's lives. It was crucial. And I'm sharing these stories to record stories of disability justice organizing that are often erased or forgotten. And I want to also say that those public campaigns are mutual aid. And it's also true that the vast majority of COVID safety organizing created by disabled people was more private, low key. It didn't necessarily get space to talk about itself in a webinar. It lies in all the everyday word of mouth, not so public efforts to spread information, tools, scripts, and safety strategies. Spread Crip to Crip in texts, phone calls, voice memos, and online messages. It's a lot of, how you doing? It's a lot of, we stayed up late researching what scientists were saying, taking articles and epidemiology information and translating them into plain language. We invented these strategies. So many of us, are still people who have barely left the house for 2 years. And from those spaces of home-based resistance, I remember us sharing recipes for homemade hand sanitizer and where to buy the fragrance-free kind, and making contact-free distro boxes in front of our houses where people could pick it up. I think of the ways that we found to use our Crip skills that were already polished from years of navigating disabled isolation to navigate living in an airlock for months. We innovated all those Zoom Crip dance parties and craft nights and hangouts and going deep into fandoms and leaving contact-free baskets of extra veggies on the stoop. Those were and are life-saving Crip mutual aid survival. I'm thinking about what I call the Crip mass brigades, which was, I noticed so many disabled people in the early months where the CDC was saying, oh, don't wear a mask. That's crazy talk. Being like, I found medical fabric. I don't know if it'll work. I'm making homemade masks. I'm going to mail them to other disabled people. I'm thinking about when Vogue mask was one of the only relatively easy to find N95s and they would go on sale and they'd be sold out in 10 minutes. And I performed a form of activism where I was like, okay, I'm on their email list. There's going to be a drop of masks in 2 days at 9 a.m. Tell me what you want. I will buy as many as possible in the 5 minutes they're there and I'll mail them to you. I had friends who were living in New York who were like, yeah, I'm disabled and black or brown, and I'm in this really shitty ventilated building, and I could hear people coughing in my hallway, and there's not a mask to be found. And I was like, I'm mailing some to you, and I'm mailing you herbs. Um, and there's more. I mean, I'm sorry. I want to, I'm going to jump ahead, but please feel free to read all of this stuff. But I want to briefly mention that, you know, even before the pandemic, so many of us who are in the chronically ill nation, non-nation, who are chemically sensitive, you know, very, very immune compromised, we already were the outliers who were masking and who knew about masks. And we shared our information. And we'd already been developing that information, at least on the West Coast, in the face of the wildfires of the past 5 years, where so many people 5 years ago were like, this is an N95, this is what it's good for, this is a P95. When farms are on fire, because that's petroleum, you want to use a P95. Here's a respirator. We'd already been planning for the end of the world before COVID, and we've been building on that strength and those disabled skills around masking. I mean, even I feel like some of us did a kind of community public service announcement on social media being like, hi, here's me in my mask. It's not weird. It's cute. Here's how you deal with the fogging. Here's how you deal with the lipstick. I did that, and there's people I know, and I'm no better than anybody else, but at least a couple friends were like, you know, I wasn't going to do it. And I did mask because I saw your Instagram post, and that's probably why me and my kid are alive. A lot of us did that stuff. And I think another too long didn't read is it leads back to the ways in which disability is everywhere and we're hyper visible and invisible at the same time. And oh, hello, Sunny. There might be a cat in a second. Very exciting. Um, the ways in which now I've lost my train of thought because cats. Um, the ways in which I mean, disability justice is depending on when you count. We're in our 17th year this year. And we have always resisted scaling up. We have always resisted, like, I've never heard of anyone be like, let's start a national disability justice organization, because we are a movement of people who are Black and brown, queer, trans. We center the most marginalized disabled people, or we try to. And we are the people who have over and over again been marginalized in big disability rights national organizations, right? DJ is, I would argue, a horizontal movement of nobodies. And our strength is in that. I'm always like, DJ is wherever you are. You know, you can, if you're disabled and you know one other disabled person in your small town, you can think about what your community needs and do it. You don't have to wait. And you don't have to go to the Center for Independent Living. That's may or may not be so cool. So our activism is both everywhere and often unacknowledged. So I'm going to check the time. Okay, great. So I got 15 minutes or so. And I want to briefly mention, if you go to page 12, there's a discussion of Crip Fund, which was a collective I had a little bit to do with, which was a bunch of majority BIPOC disabled people who came together and were like, you know, SSI shut down, like the offices are shut down, and there's a lot of disabled Black and brown people in really dire situations because they were told to file some paperwork, and guess what? The office is closed. So we did the whole crowdfunding thing, and we were like, we're going to Venmo people, no questions asked, who are in dire situations, $500 each. And there's a particular disabled knowledge there of knowing the ways we're kept away from money, right? Where there's the big macro ways that disabled people are kept in poverty. It's not automatic. And then we know the state's killing us, and we also know that the state is something that we rely on, a lot of us, to stay alive. So we were like, okay, when the state is failing and community hasn't caught up yet, how can we give you some money and not be like, oh, it's in your special needs trust, so you can't spend it on food, but we're just like, buy whatever you want, buy weed, pay, you know, buy groceries, buy whatever. We want to give you money under the table, which is an underacknowledged Crip survival strategy, is the hustle, the Visa gift card. And I want to briefly, and this is on page 12 at the bottom, and this is a true story, you know, sometime in the middle and the mess of the early middle days of COVID, of collective disabled terror and life struggle, I reached out to a really large local mutual aid group in Seattle because I wanted to know if there's anything I could do to help out. Because I was witnessing all of this, like, oh my God, there's so much mutual aid and sourdough and shit. And they were like, oh yeah, we're going and buying groceries for those disabled people who are compromised, who are immune compromised and can't go into stores, poor things. Would I like to help out with that? And at that point, I'm like, I had not left my apartment for 3 or 4 months. And I was like, I am one of those disabled immune compromised people. And I can't, at that point, I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to a grocery store, and I was like, what are the accessible things that I can do to help create mutual aid? And I never got an email back. And that speaks so much to both the gap between how we as disabled and disability justice people have been viewing and creating and imagining collective care, where we are not just the passive recipients of charity, but where we are collectively caring for each other, and the failures of the abled neurotypical imagination to be able to witness it. None of the things that I just briefly mentioned, the disabled mutual aid we were already doing, was on that group's list of tasks to sign up for. Um, but every single thing listed above are forms of disabled mutual aid. They're all innovative and life-giving. They all count. And skipping ahead, and this is on page 13, I'm reading from the page Scaling Up Crip Dueling. And so this is kind of bringing together the early stuff I talked about this moment we're in, and the past stuff that I just mentioned. So briefly, I want to say that Stacey Park Milburn invented the term crip dueling, and I'm going to give a brief definition, and I apologize that it's not in the write-up, so I'm going to go slow. So crip dueling is, so a doula is somebody who is present at a birth and who's not the midwife, but who witnesses, supports, cheers on, goes like, hey, if you sit this way, maybe the baby's going to come easier. They're a support person. And the idea is that when you're not giving birth alone, when you have that support, the whole experience of birth transforms from being something that's painful and scary and overwhelming and onerous to something that's different. And Stacey, in one of her many Facebook posts was like, as disabled people, we doula each other into disability. When someone's newly disabled, we show up and we go, okay, here's how you drive a wheelchair. Here's how you order food. Here's how you have a really fun time when you're living in bed. Here's how you be autistic, right? Like, oh, you're late deafened. Okay, here you go. And we midwife each other into disability. We also do that when we've been disabled all of our lives, but we get to a new place with our disability. I'm an ambulatory disabled person, but I started subluxing my joints in 2018, 2019, and the doctors were all like, we don't know. And it was other disabled people who were like, who first of all were like, hey, so you need to stop re-injuring yourself. So try forearm crutches, try a rollerator. It was disabled people who were at a protest, who had organized a protest outside of the ICE office in Seattle, who had brought portable manual wheelchairs for people who might already, might be walking normally, but a protest is hard. And I got in a wheelchair and I was like, oh shit, maybe I need to transition to being a chair user. And my friends who were chair users were like, great, we're going to teach you everything we know. So I say this to say the potential disabled revolution that I'm hoping for, because I'm very ambitious, isn't just going to happen. And what's going to make it happen is there's going to be a need, there already is, for crip dueling on a massive scale, right? And I'm thinking about, there's people who have been living with disabilities that are very similar to long COVID, people who are living with chronic fatigue, immune deficiency syndrome, MCS, late stage Lyme, many others who've been doing community research for 30, 40 years on post-viral syndrome, and what it means to live with like deep immune dysregulation and fatigue and what helps. And this is knowledge that has mostly been completely ignored by the medical establishment. That's knowledge that people with long COVID need, and there's alliance that can happen there. Our disabled histories of activism and survival skills and community and pleasure are crucially needed, and most people living outside disabled community don't know they exist. So I'm going to briefly, trigger warning, I'm going to mention without detail an article that talks about a British woman who killed herself after she got long COVID because she felt like she didn't have options. When I read a January 2022 Guardian article about Heidi Ferreira, a British screenwriter committed to social justice who killed herself because she felt despair at the huge changes long COVID had made to her energy level in life and the lack of support she was getting from the medical establishment. I feel such rage at the medical establishment, and I feel compassion for her, her husband, and loved ones, as well as for everyone struggling in isolation with long COVID. And I very much want to say that I'm curious about. I don't want to be like, well, if she just had Crip dueling, she'd be alive. But I do know, because I don't know her story, and I don't want to speak for her, but I do know that disability community and Crip dueling save lives through altering experiences of quote unquote fates worse than death to lives that are precious and contain pleasure. And I don't anticipate a mass Crip dueling funding rollout by the state or a local HMO anytime soon, but I do see individual disabled controlled community organizations like Senior and Disability Action of Berkeley, California, who are starting a group partnering new long COVID patients with more seasoned disabled people as mentors, right? Um, we have to keep doing that. And we have to keep doing, I think, like the dual strategy of DJ, where we need to put pressure on the state to demand that the existing medical and social systems support long COVID disabled people. And, you should check out, if you haven't, there's a recent organizing campaign call for what they're calling long COVID justice, right? Um, we also know that welfare systems are designed on purpose to deny money and care to as many people as possible to support capitalism in the state. So, they have a vested interest in saying no. Um, so we need all the things. We need guaranteed annual income that's way above the poverty level. We need a care revolution, nothing more or less. And we also need to keep resourcing what we do control more, which is our own community-based solutions. And in terms of the grief, one of the facets of grief and exhaustion, it's real that our disabled mutual aid has staved off some of the worst of this apocalypse, and it's also shown how complicated it is and how deeply we need to keep scaling things up. So Mask Oakland is a disabled and neurodivergent-led mutual aid group that has distributed hundreds of thousands, literally, of free masks in Northern California during wildfires and COVID surges. And they're amazing. Like the government hasn't given out masks, but they have. And they wrote on Twitter in their 2021 end of year post, we have a lot of accomplishments. We could list them. But the reality is they're not enough. You could donate, which would be great. We could get a head start on financing our fire season 2022 response, because fire season is only going to get worse every year for the rest of our lives. But small, hopeful donations to a nonprofit are not going to be enough to turn this thing around. We need a revolt. We need an uprising. Mutual aid is not enough, but the lessons of mutual aid can inform the kinds of deep revolutionary work that will need to happen. And they put this in, capitals, inspiring mutual aid project we know of is pretty burnt out right now. Like, we don't got this. Volunteers are exhausted. Public health is like water and sewage infrastructure. It should not be left to unpaid mutual aid. And I agree. And I also believe that the next step does not have to be a resigned, well, I guess we have to stick with the failing system we have. But I think that as disabled and trauma-infused people who are reimagining things, we can think about as people who are exhausted and grief-stricken because of everything that we've witnessed, loss, death, pain, suffering, that we're not turning away from. How do we resource ourselves? What disabled magic do we do? What are the ways that we crip our organizing to give people sabbaticals if this work of survival is going to go on for the rest of our lives? Alongside all the devastating losses, the pandemic has also given us a window into how everything can be different. And I'm thinking about briefly, and then I'm going to read some poetry, the projects investing in community care, alternatives to the cops, the MAD and psychiatric survivor-led alternatives to emergency service organizations that are being founded. The fact that in the fall 21 climate crisis flooding in British Columbia, Sikh Gurdwaras provided some of the most effective emergency response, and Indigenous communities. The government couldn't even get like a phone line going. Our work may not be enough, and it may not have taken over the government yet, but it's still more effective than the government is. And I would say the disability justice solution for me is not to abandon those projects when people are exhausted, but to continue to figure out how to resource the work. And I know all of us long-term disabled people are already so tired, and the work shouldn't just land on us. But we have knowledge the world needs. And I'm not holding out the hope that the able or the state will get it together to do that work. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit to page 18, where it says, I may be a portal. Like all of us disabled people, as Alice Wong says, we're oracles. It doesn't mean I can predict the future. But all I know, and this is going back to that line that Stacey started with, is to have faith in the complete unpredictability of what comes next. That there will be suffering and death, and we will also keep doing all of the life-saving, radical disabled imagining that we're doing. All I know is that disability justice dreaming is audacious and bold and will take us to the future of the world. Whatever it is, whatever we make it be. The certain days calendar hanging on my kitchen wall asks, what can we go out of crisis? And I answer, the wild disabled futures we are making with the whole rest of our lives. And I'm going to end by reading some poetry real quick. And I'm going to scroll down actually to page 23. And I'm going to read a poem called I Love You Like an Autistic Person Does. I'm sorry, the formatting's a little messed up, but you'll still get the words. I love you like an autistic person does, and I mourn you like an autistic person does too. With too many tears for far too long. Not the 2 weeks permissible, but months after. And sometimes when I wake, and sometimes when I sleep, and sometimes 7 hours curled in the half of the orange couch boat. I cry the hurt. I echo, I miss you so much. I mourn you in my big autistic silent singing house. I live in by myself with 2 cats. This is where I live. This is the place you never saw. You couldn't have made it into, but you were still here. You are in these pink walls, this fireplace. I was going to move, and then it came to me singing. My room and yours were where the second act of our friendship lived. I saw you in person once a year, but we were constantly entwined in text and Zoom lectures and webinars we taught at snarky texts during and in between us explaining what ableism was to blinking heads. You texted me in bed and I texted you in bed. We sent each other gifts. All the time, those pink walls witnessed our friendship. The way my old roommate said, whenever I heard you two laughing on the phone, I thought, that's Leah talking to her sister. And you were. The way an autistic orphan has a sister. The way disabled people love each other. And because disability justice is snark, I'm going to read the next poem, which is called I Want to Kill the Entire Medical Industrial Complex for You, which is true. It's all bad. I want to kill the whole ass medical industrial complex for you. I want to kill every fucker who killed Carrie and Jerica and Heather and people I don't know and now won't be able to because ableism killed them. Who might, ETA did, kill you because you are a fat Asian femme with a vent in her throat who needs a damn cancer surgery. I won't forget how long they left you in the hallway after that CAT scan. No vent, no pain meds. Hallway. I want to kill every motherfucker who said to me or anyone else, oh, I don't think we need to do a biopsy. Oh, I don't really think you need that medication. Oh, I didn't think to check the lymph nodes. I want to kill every one of those bastards who kills us with pats on the head, 4-hour wait time, hold times, and indifference. I want to kill every motherfucker who told me to trust them, who asked me if maybe I was just a little depressed, who refused to give me imaging a few of the million times I asked. I want to murder the ones who told me they really didn't care if I understood what was happening, just that they could charge me for it. I want to commit mass murder, which will just start to make up for every time they said that your life was worth less than the $1,000 the antibiotic you knew you needed cost. Call me another autistic mass shooter risk. I don't care. No made-up murder I write about in a poem can make you be alive. That's a little bit of a grim reality to end on, but I hope it's helpful. I'm gonna end there. Okay. Also, I haven't been able to see the chat at all because I had to look at the script, but I'm just seeing my heart clapping, hearts. Thank you, everybody, for this moment of Crip Portal where we are together. Thank you, Jen and Ariel, so much for continuing to interpret. Let's take whatever breath we want or not. I started kind of a disabled revolution where a lot of people were like, let's all breathe. And I was like, I have asthma. You don't have to breathe. You can just disassociate. Um, Thank you for being here. And our time together is precious. So, well, first, I wanted to check in to see if Nick or Javier have anything that they want or need to say. And I also am open to taking questions, comments, or we could just sit.
I have nothing to say right now. I'm composing myself. So we have no comments right now. I mean, questions. We have lots and lots of hearts in the chat that I hope you can see.
I can totally see it. I'm scrolling up.
Okay, do it. Yeah.
Chat's my first language. Well, thank you for resharing the write-up. I'm seeing everybody. Got it. Thank you for the hearts. Oh, Anne, hi. Hi, everybody. It's really nice to be hosted here. And thank you so much for creating the space where we can just chat.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for like taking the time with everything. Like you just drove 7 hours and had like a really shitty experience. And
yeah, really did.
And you showed up. And I'm just so grateful for that.
Well, just, I mean, like, again, like, I'm not like trying to bright side everything, but you know, I mean, I was, as some people, I was like a disabled road warrior for years. You know, I was mentored by other people with similar disabilities to me who were like, because I was like, I worked at a rape crisis center for 10 years, and then I was like, I'm gonna shoot myself because I'm really, really vicarious traumatized out. And I just was like, I don't know how to make a living. Like, I did manual labor before that. And my friend Lenny was like, well, people like us, you can't work a 9 to 5, but you know, you can gig. And so for, you know, 10, 12, whatever years, I was like, I got on a lot of planes and I did a lot of in-person college and other speaking and teaching and organizing gigs. And as like a mixed class person from the Rust Belt where people don't travel so much, I was like, you're gonna pay me to read poetry? Fuck yeah, I'll get on a plane. And I had a life that was one of many disabled lives where I would go and be in person and go real hard. And in a lot of ways, it was a solidarity action because something that me and Patty Byrne, who co-founded Synth and Valid, talked about a lot was she was like, I can't get on a plane. I'm a power chair user. They'll break it. But she's like, you're a walkie. You go and be the ambulatory front guard and bring me in on Zoom and we'll be able to do it. And I was like, and I'd be sick for, you know, weeks after every tour, but I was like, you know, I have privilege as a walking person. Let me do this. You know, let me go recruit. And Aurora Levens Morales, who's I think 15 years older than me, there was this one moment where she was like, yeah, I used to do that and then I can't do it anymore. And it panicked me because I was like, I don't know any other way of making a living. You know, I mean, I do. I read tarot cards in my kitchen for a long time. But the TLDR is that Zoom has made the reason why I'm able to show up is that we're able to find each other on the wide, wild internet. And this is much easier for me to show up for, even after like flying across the country, leaving. My friend Jonah says our whole houses can be our access system often. I was like, I left everything, showed up in Philly, and then I was like, oh my God, the apartment was a scam and it smells like Fabuloso and cigarettes, and I'm getting so sick. I was able to be here because of the collective disabled creation of this space. So thank you. And I'm just looking in the chat and I'm seeing Anne has asked, I'd be interested to hear about your different home communities and how that plays into your recent move. Philly has some amazing networks, so does Western Mass, so does Seattle and Oakland and Toronto. How to work between who is with you on the ground in these expansive networks we create. I don't know. I'm like, I mean, I think you just answered it. And I think that my answer is not going to be the same as every disabled person's, but I think that for those of us who are disabled, oh, my brain. Well, okay, I'll say this. Like, so The Future is Disabled is not out yet. It's out this fall, and if someone could find the link and drop it, that's cool. There's pre-orders available, but I you know, I wanted to call it Care Work 2, The Reckoning, and then my editor at Arsenal Pulp was like, maybe as a subtitle. It's a little sarcastic, but I have all these pieces, and then I have these things that I call tiny disabled moments that are little pieces of story. And I was really inspired by Eli Clare in his book Brilliant Imperfection, where he just wrote these little mosaic pieces. And one of them is called, well, there's no disability community here. And I was like, I have heard that about every single fucking place in the world, and it's said so often, like, and it's said in this way, and it's said by disabled people of like, oh, well, and sometimes they'll be like, well, in the Bay, that's where the disabled community is. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, but the Bay is pretty inaccessible too. I mean, I left, and if you don't have $5,000 to rent a room, you're gonna leave, maybe. Um, and I was just like, I think it's something to say, like, what I would say is that every place is inaccessible, and yet every place has disabled people in it because we're everywhere. And I'm thinking about E.T. Russian, who years ago, who's a white genderqueer amputee artist in Seattle. They started a thing they called Crip Your Hangout, where they just were like, hey, you want to hang out? Let's be disabled and hang out. And they just found, an accessible coffee shop, and we're like, let's see what happens. I think about the presence of disabled community every place there's two people, and I also think about the ways in which Crips know this, other people don't. For a lot of us, the internet is a lot of what has supported DJ Revolution, because people are like, I had to move to northern New Mexico to be able to breathe the air. I'm the one person in Apple Valley, Wisconsin, whatever. I can't go anywhere. And then we were like, oh shit, we can hang out. And we hack the system and then the system hacks back. Like, I'm thinking about, Facebook's evil. And 12 years ago, when Sick and Disabled Queers was started by William Maria Rain, who is now in Austin. Hi, Billy. I know you're at work, but thank you for everything. They were just like, I just want to find a place where sick and disabled, mostly non-white queers can hang out. And it was before the chokehold of the algorithm. So it was popping. Like, we were all just talking and hanging out and practicing having a community that was multiracial, but that centered Black and brown disabled people, which is tricky. And I just think that whatever they take away from us, we'll find another place to hold that space. If like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, is taken away from us, we'll find something else. And I also think about like, okay, we've been building for 15 years in modern DJ formation. I think it's not an accident that with the internet being chokeholded and shadow banned, I wouldn't have said this even 5 years ago, but I can name, oh yeah, there's this little group here. There's Disability Justice Collective Portland. There's Detroit Disabled Power. There's Disability Justice Network Ontario, which is in Hamilton, Ontario, this, relatively small Rust Belt city. There's a lot of little groups popping off. There's, the adaptive device library, libraries that keep popping off. There's Chronically Queer in Austin, which I've not yet had the pleasure of visiting, but I know is there. I think that there's ways that we're really hybridizing and that we have a sense of where we have people, and that when people stumble into disabled community, the onboarding process is quicker. Like, I don't mean to centralize myself, but I think about, like, I got sick in 1996, 1997, and it took me till 2007 to find disabled community, not mad community, because there was psychiatric survivor community in Toronto. But it took me 12 years to find other chronically ill people and disabled people. Ooh, Liz, thank you for posting that. That's awesome. And now I see people just real quick, like they can just go on, Amani Barbarin's Instagram and be like, oh yeah, okay, cool, I got all this info. So it's faster. And then people are organizing both online, in person, and by online, sometimes it's local and sometimes it's like really spanning the continent or the globe. So that's one of our superpowers, is we do have a sense of like the normal people ways of connecting aren't accessible for us. So yeah, I'm thinking about autistic people like myself, where I'm like, I have hella best friends I see once a year or never, and they're my best friends because we just text. I think about my friend where, a longer story than what we have, but I just think about that multiplicity of disabled connection and that continual evolution that we have. Any other questions, comments?
We have 2 minutes, but we had someone who asked about how to disrupt higher ed. There's a much longer question in there, but like if you want to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think so many ways. Like, I think about sit-ins. I think about, what if we brought the Capitol crawl to the Access Center? I mean, I think that, just optically, if you have a bunch of disabled people protesting the non-access center, that's going to get media, right? I like, what if everyone was just like, we're gonna like do a mass park in and be like, fuck you, we're disabled because we say we are. What if we painted extra blue spots and just sat there in our fucking cars and set up a fucking hotspot? Sorry, I swear a lot, not sorry, and refused to leave and got media attention and shamed them. I think about, years ago, there's a disabled indigenous femme in Seattle who had been disabled at University of Washington, Seattle, where I briefly ran the Disabled Student Center before I got forced out by ableism and racism. And she had gone to school there and then had gone to a Jesuit university and was working at the Access Center there. And she was like, there's two kinds of accommodation centers, the ones that fight for their students and the ones that fight for the profits of the university. And mostly it's that one. Mostly it's the second one. So I think calling that out, and I think looking for the allies that are already there in higher ed, because I see individual staff and professors be like, fuck this gatekeeping, prove your disability accommodation center bullshit. Just come to me, say what you need, we'll work it out. Like, I see disabled and ally professors fighting sometimes to make liberated zones in their own classes when the Access Center fails. And I think about, like, it's kind of similar to that People's CDC I mentioned. Like, what if there's like a People's Access Center that's like, we took over this accessible supply closet, we're going to do accommodations, fuck these other guys, they don't do shit. This is the disabled rage and creativity I needed, feeling really defeated from the ADA forum yesterday. Yeah, I'm sorry. So real quick, so Stacey and me dreamed up this thing that we called the DJ Audit Tool because we were being asked to do all these workshops, mostly by BIPOC organizations that wanted to get their shit together about disability justice. But we were like, there's only two of us, and one of us would be like, I took too many edibles, I can't do the workshop, I'm throwing up. So we created this audit tool, which I can find the link, or if somebody could Google DJ Audit Tool and stick it in there, it's free. And it's a lot of things, but we also created, we included some stories by BIPOC organizations or centered organizations talking about, here's how we adopt a DJ. And one of my favorites is from the Queer Women of Color Media Access Project, where Kibo Drew says, most people are stuck on like a checklist or like a compliance model. And she's like, I want better than a compliance model. I don't want to just do the ADA basics. I want to have a space where my grandma can come and where everybody's welcome and we're creative and welcoming and where access is just there. And she has so many stories in her story about like, yeah, we're a 3-person, not every working class, Black and Asian, pretty disabled organization, but we partner with people. We go, we can't do everything, but who is? How do we work together? How do we take money from one place and put it into captioning? All that stuff. Thank you so much for the links. So I just think that, and I think that we can call it out. Like, we can actually call out that it is completely disgusting that in the majority of campuses, if not almost all of them, the ADA Center or the Access Center exists to deny disabled students, staff, and faculty what we need. Like, I was running the disabled center. Did I get disabled parking for the whole year? No, I didn't. Like, they were just like, I was just like, sorry, I'm late. I had to walk 2 miles and now I need to lie down and there's no couch. That's bullshit. We can call it out. And I do think it'll be interesting with the critical mass that's growing. And I think about like mass long COVID-led lie-ins, where it's like, you know what? We're all just gonna lie on this ground with some heating pads until you give us what we fucking need. Fuck them. That's my TLDR. Fuck them. Not the long COVID people, and not us, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Fuck
Right. Yes. This is
And Taylor, I really support on making signs that say fuck them and the future is disabled on the other side. Yeah, I'm waiting for my heating pad. It's almost here.
Yeah.
We're at the end of time and I know the interpreters need to leave. So I want to say thank you so much for this space. It's really beautiful.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for all of the energy, everything. This has been just amazing for me to just like help facilitate all of this to happen. Everyone, yeah, thank you everyone for showing up. Screaming in the chat. I love it.
Yeah, my accessibility counselor is the biggest gatekeeper, and it's totally air quotes. It's like, you're not trying to access, like, let me access shit. Like, I had someone in the access center be like, these kids are just so crazy. And I'm like, wow, kids and crazy, interesting. They're like, one of them came in and they thought that their school could be free. And I'm like, under voc rehab, it could be free. Like, why do I know your job better than you do? Thanks, Dr. Nick. Thank you, Jen and Ariel. Thank you, Captioner. Yeah, let's make the revolution, guys. Why not? Might as well.
All right, I'm gonna stop it there. Let me stop the recording. Yes.